The past couple years on my journey towards living a more intentional and minimalist lifestyle, there are certain habits that I've either given up or I've made changes or alterations to that have allowed me to live a more simpler and better life. In no particular order, beginning with the first habit that I've given up, I no longer purchase physical books. As time has went on, the past 10 years, I've been really proud about the amount of books I've read. It was a source of joy for me because I know that I'm growing, I'm improving, and that hasn't changed. But what has changed is my desire to have more physical possessions. And as you can see behind me, I'm getting a bit of a collection, right? These are just some of my books that I've read. And so over time, I realized, you know what? At any given time, most of these books are not being put to use. They're not being of value to anybody. So although I've given some books away, I've realized in this day and age, there are alternatives. So I no longer buy physical books, and now I strictly read books from Audible. So if you're not familiar with Audible, it's basically an online platform for purchasing and basically holding your books. Not only am I able to continue learning, but it allows me to do something that I wasn't able to do before, which is learning in more environments. So what I mean is this. Back in the day when I was taking the bus, it was hard to read. You're constantly moving, you're constantly shaking around in the bus. If you're in the grocery store, you can't read a book. If you're in the gym, you can kind of read a book, but it's difficult. So now I just have Audible. I just have the app. I buy my book. I put my headphones in, and regardless of whether I'm driving, I'm in the grocery store, I'm going for a walk, I can consume this information. So the times where I'm doing an activity that is relatively passive, like walking, I can also consume information and enjoy the books that I've purchased. And it's also a lot cheaper. With Audible, I'm paying like $15 a month for a credit. And that $15 credit can go towards a $50 book. So it's cheaper, it saves me a lot more time, it allows me to fill the gaps in here, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes there, in situations where I otherwise wouldn't be able to pull out a book. The second habit I've given up will be kind of controversial because a lot of people that tend to live a more minimalist, intentional lifestyle, they do the opposite of this. But the second habit that I gave up is paying with cash. I don't carry a lot of cash, I don't pay with a lot of cash. I resort to using my credit card. Now, hold on, let me explain a little bit here. So I use my credit card, but I am well aware that I am financially responsible. I don't buy things that I don't need just because I have a credit card. I've worked on my financial habits for a long time, and I have that area of my life in check. Some people, when they have credit cards, they are prone to using their credit cards to purchase things that they don't have money for. If that's you, as I discuss more in my video, I can link it up here. If that is you, if you're not responsible financially, then yes, you should use cash. But for me, there's a large benefit in using my credit card. One, I don't have to carry around cash and worry about going to the bank and pulling out money. Number two, when I pay for things, I don't need to worry about having a bunch of pennies and nickels and quarters and dimes. Every time you make a purchase, you get 15 cents back here, 13 cents there. And before you know it, I find myself having bags full of coins that I've collected from all these purchases. It's just a lot more simpler for me in my lifestyle to be able to pay with the exact amount using a credit card and not have to worry about getting change back or finding or taking out the money and all of that. It's just an unnecessary middle process that I would like to cut out. Also, I have credit cards that allow cash back. So with all the purchases I'm making, I'm actually able to make money in a sense from the purchases I make. Again, if you are not financially responsible, don't even consider this. If you know you've had debt issues or your credit card's maxed out, I wouldn't recommend this. But for me, using a credit card for everything is the best option for me. I have my little minimalist wallet, and in that minimalist wallet, I have a couple credit cards, debit cards, some library cards and stuff. I might carry maybe $20, $40 in cash just as an emergency money, but for the most part, I just keep it straight plastic. So again, might not be for you, but for me, it's a intentional and minimalist habit I've gained in my life that has allowed me to have less stuff and just make my life more efficient. The third habit I've given up is buying cases of water. I no longer buy those 24, 30 pack cases of bottled water. There's a lot of environmental reasons that I won't even touch on in this video, but as you know, it produces a lot of plastic, a lot of excess waste, and it's just completely unnecessary. So for me, I go to what we call it here a water depot. It's a place that you can buy filtered water from, and I can buy, for $50 I can get like 12 16-liter jugs, so that it lasts me a long time. There's no excess waste, so I just have the big jugs that I get my water from every day, and I have my little canteen thing, and I just take that everywhere I go. I have zero waste. Absolutely zero waste. Not only would it be a pain in the ass to go and get the water and carrying 3 cases with you, but when you see that every few days your garbage is filling up with this plastic bottles, and because I drink maybe 4 or 5 bottles of water a day, it gets to the point where it's an unnecessary habit for me to have to go and take out the garbage and plastic every day, and also it's just unnecessary waste. And I just try to be as efficient as I can in my life. So as time goes on and I learn better practices for recycling, it was just an obvious step to no longer buy bottled water. And the fourth habit I've given up is buying clothing for the brand and not the build. Once upon a time, I used to go out looking for a specific brand, and then once I found that brand, I would look for clothing within that brand. Now I don't do that anymore. I couldn't tell you what the brand of most of my clothing is. I'd have to look on the tag to tell you what the brand of this shirt is. I don't know. Now I just look for clothing that looks good, that is relatively inexpensive, and that has a good quality and build to it. I don't care about the brand. I also don't care about buying clothing that's like fancy one-time use clothing, like a one-time fancy shirt for special occasions or suits for special occasions. I just don't do that anymore. I buy clothing now that is simple, looks good. I like to look good, but something that's very simple that I can wear, multiple times in a month, and it won't stand out. It'll just be normal. Blank black shirts, blank white shirts, V-necks, shirts like this, nice collar, little button-up type of thing going on, but nothing brand specific and nothing one-time use specific. I like to look good, but a particular brand doesn't determine how good you look, so I don't worry about that. And the last habit that I've given up might sound kind of weird to some of you. You might find it to be a little out of your comfort zone, but for me, the habit I've cut out is eating 3 to 4 meals a day. I no longer do it. I used to try to eat 5 meals a day, 6 meals a day to try to get bigger and put on muscle. And ever since I completed a 5-day water fast, which I'll link to up above here, ever since I completed that, I found that I can eat one high protein meal a day and I'm completely fine. I'm completely set. Now, I still want to put on weight and put on lean muscle, so I do eat 2 meals a day. But I no longer try to eat 3, 4, 5, 6 meals a day as some people do while trying to put on weight for a couple of reasons. Number one, because I don't have to. I feel completely energized. I feel completely satisfied just with 2 meals a day. Honestly, with just 1 meal a day, but I push myself to eat 2. Also, eating half the amount of meals is half the amount of food that I need to buy. So I save on money, I save on consumption, and I find myself feeling a lot better knowing that I'm not putting my body through all the work that it takes to consume twice as much food. I just don't have to do it anymore. Just a little tip, I found that by eating less carbs, more veggies and more proteins, more fats, that's what allows me to be more satiated and not be so hungry. It's eating the heavy, simple carbs like rice and pasta and potatoes and stuff like that really caused me to be more hungry more often. And I just feel better. I just feel better internally and externally, not having to eat so much food. So it's a habit you might consider. And as time goes on, I'm continually trying to learn more habits to apply to my life to live a more intentional, simpler, minimalist lifestyle. So if you have some habits that I didn't mention in this video that you've applied to your life and that you feel really great about, please I'm really open to hearing more habits that I can implement into my life. So leave a comment below with some habits that you've entertained or you've applied into your life that you'd recommend. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button below and that little bell notification to get notified every time I put out a video, which is every single week. Also, please hit the like button below on this video. It tells YouTube that the video is worth watching. And if you want more content like this about self-development and personal growth, and just in general helping you be the hero of your story, then definitely watch this next video right here, and I will see you over there. Peace. Have yourself a great day.